Hello, my name is Jani. Welcome to my channel. This is a cross-stitch channel where we talk about cross-stitch and materials and flosses and fabrics, and sometimes we talk about plans to stitch new projects. So in this video I want to talk a little bit about my stitchy reports, my stitchy report about the projects that I've been working on. I start 3 times a new sampler. I have been working on my Mirabilia. This is Tree of Hope, and I also had a little finish. I stitched this design by Mother Folk Embroidery. It's a freebie in Jacob's page. It's a beautiful design. The design is for the word peace, for our friends in Ukraine. So I finish as in this little candle. The fabric it's Aida 18, and if you want to stitch this design, you can go to Mother Folk Embroidery and download the chart, and you can also make a donation to Ukraine. And as I was saying, I work on Tree of Hope by Mirabilia. This is a design, a project that I start on February 21st, my birthday. So I'm stitching this in an Aida 16 that I dyed with the ice technique. So it looks really, pretty and with this form with the colors. And I'm using some CXC, some DMC and silks, and changing some of the colors. But I really love how this design looks against the fabric. It's really pretty. It's different, of course, from the original, but I really like it, and I will continue stitching on it. And finally, this is my start of Rachel Howells, and 1856, and it's a design from the Scarlet House. And initially I was considering start this project in a linen 56 with sewing flosses. Those threads are from Gutermann, and I decided to start, to give it a try on this linen 56, but it happens that it's not a 56 linen, it's a 53 by 60 linen, which means that is not a regular linen. And you can see that the tiny flower that I start, it looks a little different from the design, which is taller, and in my fabric it looks a little smaller, like and that is because of the count of the fabric, because it's not regular. So yeah, you can use, of course, this type of linen, or you can turn the fabric to make it higher, the design, using the 60 threads, or like in my case, you can stitch it using the 53 threads. I don't know if I make myself clear, but yeah, you can play with the use of this fabric. But at the end you know, the differences between the count of the fabric vertically and horizontally was not really an issue for me, but the size of the count, the fabric is really, really tiny. And even though I love the coverage of the sewing flosses in this fabric, the crosses look really nice. The fabric is very very tiny to me, and I had a little you know, trouble seeing this fabric, so I decided that I will use another type of fabric instead. So I took this piece of cotton fabric. It's very similar to linen 36, but it's a local fabric that I got here, and I dyed this fabric, you know, to give this like antique look. And I try first to stitch with the same sewing thread, using again just one thread or one floss. And you know, in this fabric, like the count is 36. This is also not a regular fabric, because it's 36 by 38, but it's much regular than the linen. And I start using the sewing flosses, and you can see with one thread how it looks. The crosses looks really skinny, and even the color is different. Even though I'm using the same color in the linen, the color look much vibrant, and you know, very similar to the color of the floss. And using that same one floss over 36 in my cotton fabric, because of the crosses are skinnier, the colors are lighter, so you can get different effects using different flosses or different threads, and changing the count of your fabric. So I really like to stitch with one thread. I prefer to stitch with one thread instead of two. So I really like, you know, working with one floss or one thread, but the color was lighter than the design, and I decided to start this project again, using this cotton fabric, not the linen, but with a different floss. So I start again in the other corner of the fabric. So because I don't have any more fabric, I wish I could have a linen 40 to make a test, but I didn't have that, you know, in my stash. So I decided, again, using the cotton fabric, the 36 by 38, but instead of using the sewing floss, I decided to use one thread of CXC flosses. So again, the colors are the very similar to the one with the sewing flosses, and very similar to the original design. But here the coverage is different, because the thread or the floss is thicker than the sewing floss. So you can see with the sewing thread, and you can see the piece with the one thread of CXC. So even though the color of the red is the same, the coverage is different, and the final result stitched on the fabric is different. So I have these, you know, 3 examples of how you can play with different counts of fabric, with different types of flosses, and you can get, you know, different results. And according with what you want to stitch and what is the look that you want to give to your piece, you can play with these possibilities. So at the end, it's a personal, you know, preference, what you want to stitch, with what thread or floss, and the count of the fabric that you want to use. And for me, in this case, I feel really comfortable stitching in this cotton fabric, this 36-38 fabric. It's really comfortable to me, for me to stitch, and I really like the CXC coverage in for this particular project, because the border, the colors are so bold and intense, and I want to have this same effect. Perhaps I could you know, have the same effect of the bold colors with the linen 53, but it's really tiny for me. So I'm going to keep, you know, stitching in this cotton fabric, and, you know, keep working on this beautiful sampler with the CXC flosses, which are these polyester flosses. And I really like the colors, and I really like, you know, I love this design. It's very, very pretty. And with these colors and with this intensity in the colors, I think this project will look really nice. So I will need to frog the other this first or second attempt. I will, you know, frog that part, but I will continue stitch on this piece. And I left a little margin, but it's enough for me to frame. I do my own framing, so with an inch or inch and a half, it's enough for my framing. So yeah, I didn't have a bigger piece of fabric, but this will work just fine for for my project. So yeah, this is my new start, using different options of fabric and flosses, and trying to find the best combination for me. So this is my report. Don't forget to subscribe, and, you know, to click the little bell. And thank you for being here with me. Take care of yourself, take care of your family, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.